Welcome back to the MartiniWorks Podcast. We're so happy that you're here. We're your hosts, your guides for the
Most
afternoon.
for the evening or the morning. Most of you listen to this in the morning.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. It's good to have you back. And if this is your first time here, we talk about car stuff, car news, automotive stuff, aftermarket car parts specifically, because if you need car parts, you can modify your car at MartiniWorks.com.
And then we just kind of like top it off with a little bit of bullshit.
Yeah, there's like a sprinkle of complete just unnecessary sauce.
Yeah.
One might argue hot sauce. You know, like you don't need to put hot sauce on anything, but it's just
really
a nice
the
add.
best part, though.
Yeah,
It really is.
it's make or break.
Yeah, you can completely destroy or make something with sauce. Or if it doesn't have sauce, you're like, damn, I wish this had some sauce. So you need that sauce.
Somebody, I was watching an Honest Trailers, and somebody was like, they were doing like the end sequence. Have you guys ever watched Honest Trailers?
Yeah.
So he's like, he's doing one for Dune 2, and it's like, when you try food outside the burbs for the first time, and then it's like Dune 2, and the guy's like, this has spice in it. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so out of pocket. Well, welcome back. We're happy that you guys are here. Dakota, what are we talking about today?
So let's get into the old cars first. You guys had your first drift day, which is dope, but I have an anniversary.
Anniversary?
Right now, the day we are recording is the third year of ownership of my Toyota Supra.
To the day, huh?
The day.
Wow.
I picked her up in Texas, of all places.
You know, to be completely
Big
honest, you could have
Texas.
told me that you bought that 6 months ago, and I'd still believe you. I don't know why.
That's weird.
It's
I don't
gone
know.
so fast.
I don't know how to take
It
that.
has gone fast, hasn't it?
Yeah.
How's it? So 3 years.
Great news. Car's
A lot
gone.
of days.
Car kind of looks the same because it's on stock wheels right now, but lower. And a
You threw them on for the anniversary.
I
that
take
makes sense.
everything off for the winter and kind of put it as close to stock form. I think I don't know.
Are you
if I
done
was-
winter
I was gonna say
driving it?
Done winter driving. It's fun to drive in the winter, but
Yeah.
it's like it also beats the shit out of the car. It really does.
It's kind of like I feel like it's like dog years when you drive
Yes.
a car
Yeah,
through the winter.
1,000%.
Like 1 year in the winter is 7 years.
That's
for real.
dude. Totally,
For real.
100% real. What I will say after 3 years of ownership of the A90 Toyota Supra platform is it's a 10 out of 10. I think they nailed it. I think they killed it. I have the ability, and I probably should have realistically sold the car. I could have even made a ton of money. Honestly, I'm just being straight with you guys. I could have made a fuck ton of money because I bought it right before that bubble happened. Then the bubble did happen, and it was insane. I see him going for $70,000. It was
crazy.
It was ridiculous. It was stupid, and I was close. And then this bubble is kind of
Can't
popped.
put your price on fun.
Everything came back down to earth, and I still could sell. You know, I changed careers, did some stuff, and there's a lot of times where I was like, this is like the most expensive thing I own right now. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just let her go and maybe come back. But I never could, and I love the platform.
That's saying something.
I think it does say a lot. I really enjoy the car. I think they fucking nailed it. I think if you can't get over the BMW partnership, you're a narrow-minded piece of shit.
Damn.
You are a narrow-minded piece of shit, and you need to get out more. I really think that. I think it's ridiculous, anyone that says that. I'm not even saying, like, I'm not a Toyota fanboy. I'm not a BMW fanboy. I'm not a fanboy of any make and model. But they killed this shit.
The Supra has begun, and I say begun, and I use that tentatively as well, has really begun to kind of trickle into the time attack and the track battle and the wheel-to-wheel racing stuff that I've started to see, and it is putting down serious performance in the secondhand marketplace. Like I've noticed people are talking about how incredible the platform does at 400 horsepower, 500 horsepower, 600 horsepower with Aero, with the right setup. I mean, these guys are screaming on these tracks. I think there's actually an APR Supra that just hit one of the time attack records just like last week, and it was in an A90 Supra. There was another record that was broken just like 2 months ago, A90 Supra. So I think people are really starting to get into those cars too, and like they're finding their home, which is super cool.
It's easy to get into. It's easy to make power, and it's easy for the power to be reliable.
Yeah, consistent performance has been huge out of those
Yeah,
cars.
they went with a platform that was already tried and true.
Yeah.
And then they put their Toyota sauce on it. The sauce.
There it is.
sauce.
Make sure it held up to their standards, and it is phenomenal. Dude, I am preaching that when these cars get into like the 30s, you are getting such a phenomenal fucking car, bang for the buck.
Hate to compare it. That's the same price as that.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
a 220.
He's pointing at the
horsepower.
GR86, by the way.
Two mods, 2 modifications, and you can make 500 horse.
Where are those mods?
Downpipe and flex fuel tune.
Damn.
500 horsepower.
Yeah.
Easy.
Reliably.
I just love the way it looks.
And it's
And if
a
it's
good
got
looker.
if it's got a long nose and it's got a snubby ass, son of a bitch, I'm in.
You have been saying
Has
that.
the aftermarket like price stuff come down on it a little bit, or is it still?
There's a lot of options out there now. And what I've seen on the pages that I'm on is there's a lot of guys that will go like at least for like exterior stuff or steering wheels for some reason, which I think is terribly sketchy. Dude, Alibaba and shit is all over that.
God, really?
Terrifying to me.
Jesus.
Yeah. And these guys are fucking swearing by it that they can buy these carbon fiber side skirts and steering wheels, and I don't support that. I don't think you should do that. I know it's cheap for a reason. I've seen it. So go with quality stuff. But I'm just saying that to show the extent that the aftermarket mods, it's gotten that far that
I would be willing to say if you guys do have an 890 Supra and you are looking for quality carbon fiber, I am plugging ourselves, even though we don't have it on the website. We're a dealer for Adro.
Oh, dude.
And I've ran Adro for 3 years now on like 6 different cars that we've owned. And they're pre-preg carbon fiber and their wet lay carbon fiber and their carbon fiber kits and their swan neck wings and their diffusers and their lips are all 10 out of 10 quality. Absolutely incredible. Leagues better of some of the other stuff that I've ran just in terms of fit, finish, and application. It's like, don't get me wrong, at car shows, you got a front lip, you're driving it, maybe you just 3M tape the thing on, you're good to go, and you go with your, you go on with your life. But like Adro stuff, we've taken tens of thousands of miles across the country. We've slapped it against concrete. We've hit the ground going into embankments. We've taken it onto tracks, and like good carbon fiber doesn't break and fall apart. And Adro does an absolutely excellent job with it. I know you can't smash it into a wall, but like, dude, quality carbon fiber or just exterior components, in my opinion, you pay for the fitment, and the fitment is super important.
Adro kit goes so hard.
And they do a really good job on the styling too. That's my favorite thing.
It looks
it
so
looks
good.
really good. I know I was actually talking to you about this the other day because you had the Supra out, and it was you're like, yeah, I really like the Adro one, but damn, that shit sell like hotcakes. They can't even keep it on the shelves right now for the
It's
Supra
crazy.
specifically.
There's like group buys, and like it's almost like a hype drop when the Adro shit goes. It's crazy. The Supra owners love the Adro kit and what they did when they dropped it. It has just been like boom gone, boom gone, boom gone, boom gone.
They did a great job. So Adro actually started as a Korean-based focused company, on the KDM stuff like Hyundai and Kia and things like that. And then they said, well, let's try some BMW stuff. And then they jumped into the BMW, specifically with like the F80 platform, which my wife actually runs like the whole Adro kit on. And they loved it. And then they had a wing, and they're like, well, what if we did a swan neck wing? And so they did. And it just like so coincidentally also dropped at the same time as the Porsche GT3 RS introduced their swan neck wing on their street car. And people fell in love with that design.
And they're like,
then
oh, I can do
Adro made it universal, and you could put it on pretty much anything. And then it just blew up.
Yeah, I remember when we installed that wing on the M4. It's a little scary because you got to like cut into like the trunk and stuff like that. But like after we were done with it and like after the process and like felt like how solid it was, I'm like, this makes sense. And like even the instructions were pretty clear and like where you needed to cut, how that mounting plate went in there, and it does a really good job supporting that wing. So,
I would say,
and not to mention, it looks freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, I would also say APR Performance does a really good job with their carbon fiber. The wing that we have on Clapped Car is chef's fucking kiss, and it's super cool to learn when you start buying Aero. You can tell the difference between companies that built it for looks and the people that are building it for function. Now, I will say Adro has not done what APR Performance has done. Adro is definitely more of like a looker. Sure, it does some downforce stuff and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, yeah.
But APR Performance is like, what are you running? Like, are you going to track battle? Are you going to do street modified? What class are you doing? What tracks are you going to? What weight are you running? Did you shave anything off the back? How much does the car weigh? How much? And you tell them all this stuff, and they're like, GTC 350 with these uprights.
At this many degrees.
This many degrees of angle, you're ready to go. You're going to love it.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like,
awesome.
that's so wild to me. Shout out to Chris. I don't know if he's there anymore. Somebody told me he may have quit. I didn't think he did. But
God, oh, God.
if he is still there, you're going to have to fix the rumor that you're gone. But he's been awesome to help with on the Clap Car. And hopefully on our next car build for MartiniWorks, we'll get some APR performance Aero goodies on it, which is it's here.
Yeah. Anywho,
It's here.
how did the first drift day of 2024 go?
You go first. Go ahead.
It went really well.
Go ahead.
Good to
Gels was blasting Tokyo Drift in his
No,
car.
I was blasting 90s grunge, and it's
90s grunge.
better than Tokyo Drift soundtrack. Even though I do love the Tokyo Drift soundtrack, I don't know. It was just like everyone's like got like the freaking like the funk music going, and I'm just sitting there listening to like Smashing Pumpkins and Deftones. And I'm like, this is a fucking vibe, and it must have done something because I've never driven that car.
It looked great.
Faster and better on the track. I know I still have so much progress to make, and like
Gels did incredible.
We're still doing some dumb shit because I panic every now and then, but it felt really, really good. I attacked the first corner on intermediate at US Air for the first time. I would always just kind of like drive through that one because it scared the shit out of me because it kind of goes like uphill. It's like banked uphill and then like trees on the other side of it. So it's like the perfect ramp if you just like
The
fucking go
roller
off of it.
coaster of love.
That's advanced.
Oh,
Yeah.
advanced. I thought that's what you were talking
If
about.
you
My bad.
if you understeer turn 1, you can't save it. So a lot of people will just tell you avoid
Yeah,
turn
just-
1 on
just-
intermediate and go to turn
Try it
2
later, yeah.
and try it later. Yeah.
But I'm like, fuck it. This is my like now going into the third season of drifting with this car at the same track. I'm like, I should probably learn how to drift this damn corner because it's the only one on intermediate that I haven't tried yet. And I did it. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it like had lined me up better, if it just gave me more confidence or like had the weight transfer going more correctly into the second turn. But I carried so much more speed through that, which then allowed me to carry it through turn 3. And being able to kind of link all 3 of those for the first time felt so fucking good. And then it just gave me more confidence to drive even faster because I was like, expanding that limit. I changed the line a little bit. I changed like the angle a little bit. And was able to carry way more speed through. Shout out Sam also. He also gave me a huge tip that helped a ton. Obviously, it was such a low horsepower car like the 240K is a stock KA essentially. Clutch kicking the fuck out of that thing, and it's like one by, like, and it's like really, aggressive when you just
jerky.
dump the clutch like that. He's like, I know this is gonna sound weird, but just try, like go like halfway on the clutch and just let it slip a little bit. He's like, I know it sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And he's like, it sounds terrible, but it's gonna let the RPMs come up. It's not gonna be as aggressive when it is fully engaged again, and it's gonna keep your line a lot smoother. It's not gonna be as harsh. It's not gonna throw you off as much. And it did. It helped a ton. It helped me keep the speed up. It helped me not be so jerky. Because I remember, like, I'd give ride-alongs. I'm like, sorry, like, they're just, like, getting tossed around like this. And I'm like, oh, my God. But, like, everything started to feel a lot more smooth. Everything felt a lot more connected. Obviously, keeping the speed up helped carry it through the rest of the track. And then, we eventually got the courage to tackle advance for the first time.
And he crushed it.
I tried my best.
There's the roller coaster.
Yeah, that's the roller coaster
He
of
did
love.
so good. It was so awesome to see Gels out there sliding around on advance because it only took a monumental amount of peer pressure to get him to fucking do it.
Yeah,
I am proud
it
of
was.
you for doing that. And I got to say real quick, as an outsider perspective, I don't drift. I've gone to US Air though, and I've done ride-alongs and been on the. It was scary as fucking a ride-along. I can't imagine driving because the elevation, if you haven't been there, the elevation is gnarly.
Yeah,
you
it's
come up to
so
some
fun.
turns and you
don't see
can't
it.
see
No.
what's coming next.
Yeah, it's like right near like the last section there. You come off the turn by the wall, like
Yep.
the one wall that's there. You go down, and when you're coming up, you're coming up at a right, and it immediately like crests and goes left, and you can't see. Like you're
You
coming
have
up,
to know that
you
it's
do
there.
not know that it's there, and if
You have to flick it.
You're just like, I think it's time, and you kind of flick it, and then you kind of you do like one of these like over.
It's fun.
It feels so good though,
Yeah.
and honestly, it felt like the car was just doing a majority of the work in that section. Like you're just kind of like working the throttle a little bit to like let it rotate for the most part, because like I was just like hands off most of the time, just like, yep, okay, now we're just gonna slide this way, and now we're sliding this way. Okay, yeah, now we're not going this way again. But it's so fast, and like you're going up and down, and left and right, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was a super beautiful day.
gorgeous.
Saturday we took out the Gloria, and then Sunday we took out the GRD6. Biggest focus for me was learning how to left foot brake, so I learned how to do that.
That's huge. That's huge.
I got to practice that on advance, which was definitely an eye-opening technique, and I see why people do it.
Why?
It allows you, like when you're in a turn, it kind of allows you to bring the car into the turn further, so you get closer in on like the inside clip of things. So it essentially allows you to keep your wheel speed up, so you can maintain a drift. But you're essentially like bringing the car in. You're not necessarily, you're kind of slowing it down without losing the drift. And so by doing that, it actually gives you a lot of opportunity to kind of do what I would call insurance work. Because my biggest mistake in drifting, and it continues to be my biggest mistake in drifting, is early parts of the day, I'm on top of it, feel like $1,000,000, really just driving hard. And then I get lazy and tired in the afternoon. And I get sloppy. And because I get sloppy, I start making mistakes. And so what happens is I start going faster. But when you're sloppier, when you're going faster,
You're not faster here, though.
you're not faster in the arms, and you start making mistakes. And so what I've learned is like left foot braking can help a little bit with recovering times where you find yourself further out on the track and you need to bring yourself in. Specifically, advanced US Air, the final section before coming back up to the entry point, you'll find a big, left-hander sweeper. And a lot of times what was happening is I was finding myself coming in with so much speed with the Gloria that when I kind of went to rotate the other direction, there was a lot of weight pulling me out of the track almost. And so I used that left foot brake to keep the speed coming around that right-hander, but then I could bring the car in, really control a nice slide back to the start. And awesome.
You're keeping the rear wheels going essentially without disengaging them. If you were just to like put the clutch in, everything disengages. You lose that.
Everything slows down.
Lose that wheel speed in the rear. So.
And then learn that with the GRD6 can do it as well. There is a sensor in there, so you can't necessarily slam on the brakes, but you can feather the fronts, which was an absolute blast. Got very smooth with that car. But the biggest mistake I made is I didn't pack a set of spare tires for the fronts. Showed up to Sunday with absolutely no tread on my front tires, and so I very quickly learned what not to do. So there's a couple times where I went off track, learned a lot. I learned how to manji, right? I think is the term, or Scandinavian flick, advanced at the beginning. Oh, like
in the beginning, yeah. You have to.
Which was the scariest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
So you're looking at, if you're unaware of US Air advanced course, if you have a settle, you can go check it out.
It's a fun one.
Like simulators, but like if you know it, you're starting on the top of this hill essentially, and you begin downwards. And right at the bottom, you start to come back up, and it's this like, it literally is like a roller coaster where it like comes like this, and it's all at an angle. It goes up and it comes back down, and it's intimidating as all hell. And to top it off, typically what you have to do is you got to go all the way to the right. You have to clutch kick to the left. So it's like you're initiating the drift the wrong way, going up a hill when the turn is going like this. And then you flick it back over.
Why do you have to do that?
So with lower horsepower cars like the GRD6, a lot of times you're doing it so that you can carry momentum through that upright hander and then also down into the left. And if you do that right, you're carrying enough momentum where you can connect the start of advanced all the way to the hairpin that's like turn 4 or something like that. 3. And so with that being said, what you find yourself is a ton more speed. It feels a lot more natural, and the car just glides.
So it's just momentum.
Yeah, essentially because I'm like, I don't need to do that. That's scary. So I like would start on the left, or I kind of just like, pitched it in and then tried to like clutch kick it up, and it just would not. The car would not slide. It just kept wanting to go
because every
straight.
Single like function of that track is built, especially that corner, to not let you do that. Right? You're going uphill, you're going to the right, and it's pitched inward.
Yep.
And so what people are trying to do is they go up the hill and they're like, I'll clutch kick to the right. It's like, well, you can't. All of the potential grip is in the back of the car. And if you have no horsepower, the clutch kick won't do it.
Yeah.
And
I
so
tried.
It's wild because even with like the GRD6, I would go into that corner, like right-hander, I'd flick it, and I found myself going like 10 miles an hour faster, which was awesome. I got through like that turn and everything. Shout out to Ryan Ridzik for the tip. But it threw off the rest of my line.
Yeah.
Because then when I got to turn 3, I was messing it all. I was going way too fast, and I was hitting dirt, and then I would spin out, and I was like, what the hell is happening? And I'm like, oh yeah, you're coming into this faster because you're coming into that faster, and now you have to reset.
Yeah, it's a huge learning curve, but it felt so good to finally tackle that beast a little bit because that's been something that's literally been on my bucket list to do for since I started, obviously, is to get over to the advanced track. And we finally did it. We knocked it out. Did pretty decent, felt like. Obviously, a lot of areas to improve on there, especially the beginning section there. But yeah, like Alex said, it's like I tried. I'm like, I'm just gonna clutch kick it to the right, and we're gonna hope, and it just wouldn't do it. Yeah. It wouldn't break. She wouldn't slide. And yeah, you got to do that. Even try grabbing the e-brake, nothing. Like it just feels wrong trying to do it that way because the car just does not respond to it. Like it's just like, nope, we're gonna keep going.
It was just a lot of fun. Like I learned a lot. And I think as you start getting out there more and you start making those small improvements, it does start to teach you kind of the reset principle of like learning how to race, which is you attack one corner, you get a little better at that one corner, but then a lot of times that throws off how you enter the next corner and the next corner and the next corner. And so like racing is such a fun, almost like antagonizing talent of okay, it's like chess because now you've got this one down, but now you got to go relearn that one and that one and that one and that one and that one. And then so like in the middle of the day, like I'll be super honest with you, I was super frustrated. I was getting more and more frustrated because I was losing grip in the front. I was going faster. I was entering harder, but I was messing up more often. I was finding myself off track. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? I'm like, we're going to settle down.
Get tired.
We're going to go back and we're going to just focus on 1, 2, and 3. And so I just went back and I started doing 1, 2, and 3. Didn't even have the camera on just because I wanted to focus on what was messing up. And it's like, a lot of times I think people think you go out there and every single time you just get better because you're just doing it. But a lot of times what happens is you learn something from a Sam or a Ryan, or maybe you just learn it yourself through just practice. And it changes everything of what you think you know about that section of the track, which is super fun and frustrating as fuck.
Because you're like, oh, damn it.
It's so
I gotta
frustrating.
learn it all over again. I thought I was doing
so
good.
frustrating. Yeah. And when you switch between cars too, it's like a whole different dynamic.
You're going from huge, big body, turbocharged, right-hand drive.
I was going to say, not
Gloria,
to mention right-hand drive and left-hand drive.
To then tiny, low horsepower, left-hand drive, short wheelbase car.
Yeah. It was
that's night and day. I think that's really cool though, because like you're not just like accommodating to that car. Then you're learning, and I could be way off on this, but like you're learning just like the actual like style of it and what needs to be done because you're using two completely different platforms. Where it's like that's where I've been trying to force myself out of the comfort zone. Is like I remember when I first started, I was like hand braking every corner, every turn, and I'm like, something's not right here. And I started using the handbrake a lot less, and I got better. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Now I barely use it at all unless it's like for, like some sort of initiation or like a really tight corner or something like that I just kind of panic.
Clutch kicking is my best friend.
Clutch kicking is good. But yeah, the weight transfer stuff is huge, and then just like kind of slipping it instead of kicking a little bit.
I mean, I think the biggest mistake I'll share, and I think some people probably saw it on Sunday, was I did make the mistake where it was post-lunch, I was getting tired, and I went out onto Advance, and I had the GR86, and I went to do the left-hander next to the wall.
Okay, hip
and
going down.
Some part of my brain thought I was in the Gloria. So I don't know what it was. I went, I kind of turned the wheel, pulled the e-brake.
Like too early?
And I pulled it way too early.
Oh,
I pulled everything way too early. And I went to kick it out, and I'm like, holy shit, there's no weight in this car. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? I'm not in the... And I'm having this thought, and here there's like these little barriers that are on the inside clip, and I'm like, I'm going to smoke these.
Oh, God.
So I go, and I re-engage the e-brake, or the e-brake and the clutch to try and get it to slide out more. I slide out more, I skip the barriers, and then I drop everything, grab traction, immediately go into the grass. And so I'm like, I know what to do. So I'm just coasting through the grass. I go up the hill and I go over, and Gels was actually on the other side. and I get back onto the track, and I'm obviously feeling like I'm pissed, humiliated, embarrassed. Get back onto the track, and the guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey man, thank you for not tearing up the grass." He's like,
because a lot of people, they're just like, oh my God, and they'll slam on the brakes. Well, if you're on grass, obviously you're just gonna lock them up, and then it just digs it all up. So yeah, typically what they tell you, if you're gonna go off, just try to let it coast a little bit, so you're not locking the brakes up, because that grounds go through a lot. And shout out all the guys from US Air and Club FR that maintain that to the best of their ability.
Well, it's crazy. It's
gorgeous
crazy
place,
too.
so.
They put the dirt down, and it's like, God bless them for doing that. But then people will dirt drop, right? And then the dirt goes onto the track. And if there's a little bit of wind, that dirt starts to carry. And if you're in grip racing and you see anything that is not asphalt, you have no traction, and you avoid it like the plague.
Yep.
And so what ended up happening is, you know that, but you don't care because you're drifting and you think you're going 10 miles an hour, and it doesn't matter.
It's where the line goes.
Yeah, you go through the dirt, and all of a sudden I'm spinning out again. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm
It
like,
helped me.
and
I needed it.
I'm like, hey, dipshit, do you have traction or do you not have traction when you're on dirt? And it's like, I don't have traction. It's like, good, then get off of it. Yeah. So then you have to change your line again. It was a super fun learning experience. If you guys are on the fence of trying it out, it doesn't matter what it is. Autocross, drifting, drag racing, track racing, time attack, doesn't care what it matters. If it's on a fucking sim or in real life, do it. Get some practice, have some fun. It's such an experience, and I think the more you go out there, the less confident you should be in bragging about your capabilities, but the more fun it gets because it gets harder. Yeah. Everything gets harder. And if you're tenacious, I think you'll love the sport.
Absolutely.
So we should take a break?
Yes, absolutely. But if you want some tires that actually grip and don't allow you to slide around, you should check out Continental, the sponsor of MartiniWorks Podcast. Woo! Continental makes some fantastic tires, which you guys already know. We've been saying it, since the beginning, and we'll continue to say it because we love our Contis. I'm running Extreme Contact Sport 02s on my TE37s, and I don't think I will switch tires. I'm perfectly content with those on my Supra. They run phenomenal. On my daily driver Jetta and our Golf R, we're running Continental DWS 06 Plus. And guess what? We bought the Golf R and it had those already on it. I didn't even have to reach out to Conti and be like, yo, hook us up, get these other tires off, because it already came on it. So that's why I bought the car. I knew the previous owner had phenomenal taste and knew what he was doing. Knew it was a 10 out of 10 car, so that's why we picked it up. If you need Contis, check out MartiniWorks.com. They have pretty much every size for every wheel that you could ever want. And if you just need some help picking out what size, we can help you do that. So hit us up and check out Continental Tire.
We would just like to officially state and release, as the company of MartiniWorks LLC, we give the new T-Swift album a 5 out of 10.
Okay, easy. There's probably someone that comes out of the woodwork. I haven't listened to it. I don't know. I've heard like 2 songs that Maya plays while I'm.
So
Chris
if
is about to launch into here.
if you guys have ever talked to our little chat bubble we have on the website, that is predominantly ran by Carissa,
who's giving us the death stare right now.
Yeah, and who is what we would call our centralized Swiftie. And even though the album was bad, she's still finding every single reason she can to defend T-Swift. No, she just said it was fine.
Okay, so we're on par.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you.
We've been talking a lot about
Bad
car
albums.
parts that we like. You're in this Taylor Swift mindset. I need to get you back out of it. Let's talk about some car parts that aren't good. I want to talk about car mods that ruined your car. Because I'm pretty sure we've all gone through something where you bought it, you're super hyped, you put it in the car, and you're like, you tried to justify it to yourself that it was a good purchase, but maybe it wasn't. Or maybe it ruined the car a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I'll kick it off right away. And I know we've talked about too, but definitely one of the biggest mistakes I think is racing seats and harnesses. And I'm going to say both actually, because if you don't do your research and get what you need for a seat, I promise you, your OEM seats probably aren't that bad. They're probably great, actually. Especially my dumbass self that took out Recaro seats in my ST that are probably some of the best OEM seats, honestly. They're so comfortable, even for a big boy like me, and replacing it with some Corbos. And I don't want to talk too much shit because, those seats were nice.
Yeah.
They weren't up to the standard. Dude, there's so much money that
when
goes
you're
into those.
Yeah, when you're talking about like factory Recaros that had to fit an OEM specification to it obviously needs to be good.
Also, I don't think it's talked about enough that when you take out your steering wheel or your seat belts or your seat, you are going to have every damn light on the dash that's possible. And it is a pain in the ass and this huge workaround to get rid of everything. So you're going to have to either just live with those chimes, which I think when you're younger, you just literally don't give a fuck. Or maybe your car already has a bunch of chimes and it just adds to it.
Right.
I'm getting to the point where it's like, I don't like that. It annoys me when I have some shit like that on my dash.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot coming from a Volkswagen owner.
Yeah, I would say the most annoying thing is anything that takes away from the initial functionality of the car.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a terrible disease because all new cars have 67 buttons like it's an original Xbox controller on their steering wheel nowadays because they never want you to take your hands off the steering wheel. So when you replace it with a grip royal and an NRG quick release that you think is really dope, and then for some reason or another you can no longer do anything in the car and you can't change anything in the car.
Turn traction control
Like
off.
turn
getting
traction
specific.
control off on a GR86. It is very annoying. We actually had to put the OEM steering wheel back in so that we could do the drift day because there was no way to get around the fact that if the buttons don't connect, the traction control buttons don't work. I don't understand how the two are even associated, I guess.
Doing that kind of stuff in modern vehicles absolutely fucking sucks. I mean, we did the resistor thing, but with the GR86 specifically now, it's like, okay, well, the passenger side has an occupancy sensor that needs to be bypassed. Well, how do you bypass that? With a fucking $100 and some additional fucking chip that you need to buy to plug into the spot.
Yeah,
that
I don't
We need the DLC battle pass.
with older cars, I don't think it's
Yeah,
nearly
if
as
you
much
got
as-
a
your old Honda.
you got
put
the
whatever
EG
fuck
hatch.
on it.
You can fucking do whatever, and you're not gonna see a single light on that bitch.
Honestly, I would say if your car is older than when TPMS came in wheels, you're probably okay.
So
So
2008.
2007 and older, you really don't have to deal with a lot of
Generally.
this stuff. Generally speaking, yeah. But when you start getting into like 15s and 16s and 18s, you start dealing with airbags that are like in the seat and under your noggin and to the side. Dude, it gets so funky.
I don't want to sound like a boomer, but the whole goddamn car's just a computer,
honestly.
and I don't know how to run
And
it.
if you unplug something, it hates you.
Yeah.
No, it goes fucking crazy. I have seen wild shit with newer cars, and the electronics is something as simple as like a fucking light bulb in the trunk going out, causing a bunch of issues. And it's just so be mindful when you do that. I know there's really flashy seats and stuff that are available now. Like you can get any fucking design you want, and it looks cool. Just know what you're losing when you go into that.
Yeah, if you're on the fence here, I'll give you some pro tips that I learned once and won't ever make the same mistake twice. Is I literally just made this mistake. I made them at the same time because we were building two cars at the same time. We got aftermarket seats and aftermarket steering wheels for two different cars with seat rails. And I did zero research on if there was any sort of like adjacent things needed for this mod. And I think sometimes with new cars, that's the issue.
Yeah.
You go to do an aftermarket part like headlights or a seat or an exhaust, and you think all you have to do is replace that part. But you have no idea that when you change out the headlights, it's going to throw a headlight sensor, which then throws a windshield wiper sensor alert, which then makes it so that your windshield wipers don't automatically turn on. And Bon Voyage, your BMW, has half the systems it's supposed to use. So do some research on what you think may also affect that mod. I'll say the other big mistake we made one time was when the Z went to SEMA with Alpha Rex. We put those Nova headlights in, which are super sick.
Look awesome.
They
Love
did look
the
really
way they
cool.
love the way they look, and I love them, but they weren't installed angled correctly.
Oh, you had to realign them.
And realigning them in old cars, very easy. It's right on the back.
it down.
You just kind of
Phillips head or
yep. In new cars, it's protected by 17,000 layers of plastic and a cross brace and an airbag and 9,000 other things. And so actually getting that readjusted was quoted to me of taking 6 hours. And I'm like, no,
Christ.
I'm not doing that. I'm just going to wait until another random reason the front half of the car is torn apart. So I think when you guys do anything with lighting, just don't be a dick. Like, get them so that they're angled correctly so you're not blinding half the highway.
Yeah, if you're that's good. That's a good. Yeah, and then bring it back to the interior stuff. If you have a new car and you're touching anything electrical, whether that's seat stuff, airbag stuff, just like Alex said, do the research because there's probably $500 of additional other shit that you're going to need to buy to get that job done.
Now,
Which sucks because
yeah.
it's like you're already spending so much on like the steering wheel, and it's like, oh, if I want to maintain all the functions of it, I got to get this fucking back plate that I can mount all the switches to, and then if I want to, actually have a passenger airbag that works now, I need to buy this $150 box that plugs into it, and
I will say
it's wild.
I will say one of the big things that we've caught over here, because we happen to sell wheels and tires and wheel and tire packages, which if you didn't know, now you know. And one of the big things with doing that is we'll quote people out Sorry, I thought I heard something.
I do. What is
That's
it?
my charger. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm like, what the hell?
Battery is fully charged. Battery is. It says it like 7 times.
Yeah, geez, I feel like I'm getting yelled at. Like,
are we under attack?
leaflets falling from the sky.
Yeah.
No, but what I'll say is we'll set up like a wheel and tire package, like a set of Enkis, Continentals, and then we get to the part where it's like, do you need lug nuts? And they're like, sure, I need aftermarket lug nuts. Cool. You have a 2012 Subaru. We need to probably get you TPMS. And then they're like, well, I don't really want TPMS. I don't need the sensor.
Are you sure about that?
And it's like, I hate to be that guy. And I know we sell it, so you think we're biased, but I'm not. Because TPMS nowadays and how it calibrates to everything else in your car is getting more and more integrated. So when you go to try and save like the $170 or whatever the TPMS is, and you don't get it in your car, it is the most annoying thing in the fucking
It's
world.
so dumb. I even made that mistake because I got the winter tires on the BMW, the Viking Contact 7s, and on the Koenig heliograms. I'm like, this is going to be a baller winter setup. And I went to get it mounted, and they're like, well, do you want TPMS? I'm like,
See?
it's just a winter setup. You know, I don't need it. I fucking regret that so much now because every time I get in
Big
the car,
mistake.
everything
Huge.
chimes. And it's like I noticed that like my like the range, like for like gas mileage, so it's like my average MPG and my range doesn't calculate anymore because the TPMS is all fucked up.
Yeah. It's wild.
I'm like why would that? Okay.
Is it annoying? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it needed? Yes. As much as I don't want to tell you it is, it totally is.
Yeah. Grow up, buy your TPMS.
Nobody wants to spend that money.
I don't want to spend it. I didn't.
Another mod I regretted doing.
Oh.
Plasti Dip, if you want to call that a mod.
Do you regret it the second time you did it?
Yeah.
Do you regret it the third time you did it? No, it was only twice.
No,
think
I
it was
got
only
I got a
twice.
bone to pick
Because-
with Plasti Dip.
Easy.
Okay, the first time, sure, on me. Okay, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
I did it stupid. Shit got everywhere. It was annoying. Didn't look good. Me, I was dumb. Second time, though, I knew what I was doing. I researched. I also did it once before. I knew what I did wrong. And I spent the time. I spent hours, half a fucking day, just getting it all right, doing tons of coats. And it's like, no matter what, unless you tape the full fucking wheel off every inch of this damn thing, you're going to have overspray. And that overspray is just going to be the most annoying, terrible thing. And I know they sell stuff to get it off. And all. It still is just tedious. And it's like, God, I almost get to the point where it's like, I just kind of wish I wouldn't have done it because now all four wheels, I look like a 16-year-old kid with fucking spray paint splattered on the inside of my barrels. And it was just
You
Nope.
can never get it all
it's
off.
not worth
No,
it. It's just not worth it.
I'm anti-Plasti Dip.
Yeah, I
I'm
get
anti-Plasti Dip. I'm sorry. Listen here. It's
Listening.
got its rights and it's got its uses, and on a car ain't one of them, unfortunately. And the reason that I say that is because it's not Plasti Dip that's the problem, but it is what you're expecting to get out of it versus what it requires to get there. And then the actual value prop of it being easy to tear off is such horseshit. Like, it works in a very specific purpose at a specific temperature for a specific age for a specific use, but anything outside of that, it is a pain in the ass. And it's like, dude, perfect example is what we went through with Clapped Car. And it's like, don't get me wrong, it's old Plasti Dip. People are going to say, well, it's too old. It shouldn't have been on the car that long. Yeah, sure. But here's the thing, man, is that there's just normal life. Like, there is a normal state of the world that things operate in. And when things have to be just perfect for something to work, I don't like it. I think it's silly. I think that if a product is kind of built or at least toyed at being easy to remove, and that's the whole point of it, and it's not, and you have to use gasoline and you have to use lacquer thinner and you have to use a freaking rubber spinning wheel to chalk it all up, and I'm sitting there and I'm spending like 20 hours cleaning this shit off. No, I don't like it, and I think it's dumb. I don't like it. And it's dumb.
Damn.
Fair. I agree with that. I think the only time it really makes sense, and I'm kind of biting my tongue while saying it, but really young kid, 16 years old, because I can remember that feeling of wanting to modify.
Just want to do
but
something.
I don't have any money, and I'm learning. I think it can have its place if you just want to like dip maybe your car came with some piece of shit fucking wheels on it, or you have OEM wheels that you plan on not using anymore, but you can't get to that next step yet. Sure, fucking knock it out. Like practice painting, and learning that process and doing it right.
The last thing I Plasti Dipped was a set of Enki wheels when I flipped them in college.
There you go.
And I remember doing it because I didn't want to spend money on it. And
Don't
I
buy
Plasti
anything
Dip.
that is plastic.
And so I was like, so I get it. And I totally agree with you. It's like, I'm not knocking it and pretending that I didn't use it. I've used it on a multitude of things. I'm just saying that, like, in the argument of which way you should go about it, in my opinion, you know, if you're going to Plasti Dip something, you probably could just paint it too. Or you could spray paint it even. Or you could wrap it. And you'd probably have, I would argue, similar or better results from it. I used to take wheels, and I remember I Plasti Dipped them. And I looked at it, and I said, this looks like cheeks. And then I used the clear that you put on it.
Yep.
And I was like, this looks like cheeks closer than 10 feet. And so the next time I did it, because we used to flip Miatas to pay for school, Michael, Shaw, and I, instead what I did is I took off the wheel, and I tried sanding it down, and then I spray painted it. Yep. And I literally remember having a picture of the dip and the spray painted wheels. And I was like, honestly, spray paint looks better. And I started spray painting the wheels instead. So it's like, it's not my proudest moment.
Yeah, it's crazy too because I actually just painted my KBD bumper for the 240 this last week. Yeah, this last week. And my KBD bumper is absolutely thrashed. It's been through hell and back. And I was just like, you know what? I just want it to at least match the color of the 240. I don't care how it turns out. As long as it's like the same color, I'll be happy. I went and got a $35 pint of ready-to-spray single-stage paint from Automotive Supply, a $15 can of flexible primer. I had it painted in 2.5 hours. All I had to do was kind of prep it a little bit, and even then, I did way less than I should have because I'm just like, just fuck it. Like, way less preparation than I would have ever needed to do to get the worst result with Plasti Dip, because I tell you what, I shot the primer on there, I shot the single stage on there, and you know what? For $30 or $50 all said and done, I think it turned out pretty dang okay.
Looks good in
I thought
photos.
it looked awesome. I thought it looked sick, especially when it was sideways and it was one color. I was like, holy shit. That's a $25,000 car right there.
It's like those moments where it clicks. It's like, I would have spent how much on a fucking thing of dip to not be the same color, not be, you know.
A lot of times it's that perception of getting to the result you want quicker. And I think that's what tricks a lot of people up. I've been tricked by it. I know you guys have been tricked by it. Everybody that's in the car scene is tricked by, do it this way, you'll get the same result and it'll be faster.
Less work and faster.
Yeah, 4 cans does not equal 4 wheels, just so you know.
and that's really not true. Like, there's so many mistakes I've made over the years of doing things. Like, I can go back to, like, with the Datsun doing fender mirrors, you know, and not wanting to spend at the time, you know, JDM Fairlady fender mirrors were $480 on eBay. So I bought the cheap versions, which were $90, and I painted them and I put them on the car. And it's like, I look back at it and I remember the fucking mirrors never actually angled because they were screwed in. So once they were seated inside of that little housing, you couldn't adjust it. It was just a fix. So like one side mirror's like shooting off that way. The other side mirror's like pointing at the ground. And it looked cool. But then when I drove the car, I was like, useless, I can't see a damn thing. And so sometimes you guys will find yourself seeing if there's a faster way to do something. Unfortunately, there's not. Otherwise, somebody would have already made a product out of it.
I have a car mod I regret. It's a pretty big name.
Oh.
Might be a hot take.
Street Hunters.
No. Well, no, I don't regret that one. I kind of knew
Volk.
that going in. No, don't regret those.
Apex.
Rotiform.
Ooh!
Yeah.
On the Jetta Sportwagon, I didn't do my research. I wasn't thinking. I was just thinking flashy, cool. These look kind of neat. They're wild looking. Back when I had my Jetta Sportwagon, I wanted a set of rotiforms because Euro cars and rotiforms go hand in hand. However, one thing with the TDI, one of my most proud moments with it was I was pulling over 60 mpg with that motherfucker. It was sick. EGR DPF delete sounded like a fucking tractor, and it got 60 mpg. Better than your mom's Prius, bitch. It was sick. Then I put rotiform BLQs on it. I'm like, this looks dope. And I'm driving to work. And get there, like, a little lower than normal, whatever, on fuel. Go home. Like, I had a haul to work, so it was, like, kind of noticeable. I'm like, this is crazy. What the fuck? I look at my fuel mileage. I was getting like 50 mpg because those things were so damn heavy. It was literally taking out my fuel mileage, and that was my pride and joy with that car.
Those single piece, like,
Blocks of
mesh
wheels.
style wheels from Rotiform are so fucking heavy. They're like truck wheels. They're like 35, 40 pounds a piece. It's fucking...
I've never seen wheels directly affect something like that until that moment. So I think if you're going with a stance car or like something you literally just don't care at all about fuel much, whatever, get them. It doesn't matter. Like they were structurally fine, probably stronger than a lot of wheels. Honestly,
they take a beating.
There's a lot of material there, but just because like in that specific situation. So what I'm getting at is if you're getting a set of wheels, just make sure they work for your platform and you kind of look into them a little bit, just a little bit. You know, are they have other people ran them on the track? Are they going to be lightweight if you're doing that? If you're doing a show wheel, make sure you're getting those sizes, the offsets, everything directly the way you need it. Just research your wheels a little bit before you impulse buy them. Just because they look cool shouldn't be the only reason you buy them.
And if you need help, you can just talk to us at MartiniWorks.com. I will say that was always the biggest surprise. I remember opening up my first box of rotiforms, and I remember taking a BLQ out, and I was like, I'm not a big guy. Okay, I know that. But I was like, this is strenuous. Like, this has got some weight on it. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, holy shit, these are heavy. These are heavy wheels. So yeah, if you want a stance set, obviously, Rotiform still makes some awesome stuff. But like, dude,
100%.
they're
a little heavy. They're
not light. I will say, on the opposite, I've noticed, one of my favorite things continues to be like about brands like either Koenig or even like, I know we've been talking about Stage a little bit. Like I just like the way that they look, but like, dude, Koenig has some like sleeper designs nowadays that look super good, insanely lightweight, and still have load rating. One of the biggest misconceptions about aftermarket wheels, people are like, I want the lightest weight possible, and it's like to a point.
Okay, but your load rating is garbage.
Yeah, but if your load rating is trash and you hit the ever smallest bump, you'll bend a wheel, which is a lot of times what people experience when they see performance wheels, quote unquote, bend. And a lot of times it's because they went ultralight and then they didn't account for load rating. They put it on a big, A6 or a big BMW, and then next thing you know, they bend, and they're like, "Well, what the hell? I spent $2,000 on these. These are race wheels. These are, It's like, well, yeah, but the load rating wasn't applicable.
They're meant to be on a lightweight race car.
So many people are like, I want the lightest wheels possible. I just want the lightest ones. And it's like there's more that goes into that.
If you do have a street car, you really don't want the lightest wheel possible. What you want is a combination of maybe lightweightness, which a lot of times if a wheel's rotary forged or flow formed or cold forged, that's like the best way to at least benchmark it. Yeah. If you want something lightweight, it needs to have that of some kind. And then from there, making sure that it's actually built for your car. A lot of new companies that are coming out with like 1 billion new designs that you never have heard of before, a lot of times they're designed in a computer. They're pretty much made to order from China, and they're never load tested. They're never load rating. They're nothing like that. So either make these wheels that are like 12 pounds, and then you put them on a fucking M5 or something like that, and they take a turn and the whole thing bends underneath itself. It's like, well, that's usually why. So, fun fact for you. Bad mod.
Yep.
Bad mod.
That's why we're here.
Probably one of the biggest mistakes I ever made with a car, I remember one time, was installing a wing quickly. Like I put it without any reinforcement.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, I actually did it with this car too, because it didn't come.
I remember that.
It didn't come with the pieces. And they're like, it doesn't need the pieces. And I was like, I don't know about all that. We were going down the highway, and I remember I was looking in the back, like the mirror in the back, and the whole wing is... Yeah. Anytime there was like a side gust of wind, the whole like trunk piece moved. And so I contacted Aero Motions. They're like, yeah, there's supposed to be brackets. I'm like,
well,
I don't have them.
You don't say.
and we got the brackets put on, and it fixed the issue entirely, which I think one of the biggest things I learned, especially with modifying cars, is sometimes you have to use that common sense and look at something and be like, there's no way the company forgot about this. Yeah. And you do have to reach out.
Call them out on it sometimes because, they more than likely did.
A lot of these companies are super small. They're running 4-person operations. They're sharing a warehouse with somebody in California. They're not huge companies. And so a lot of times they do forget shit like hardware or sensors or valves.
Happens.
And it happens.
It happens to the best of them.
Don't make accommodations to sacrifice what you need to install the part correctly. Because I have done that, and it bit me in the ass. And nowadays, what I do is I just contact them afterwards. I'll be like, hey, I still need this and this and this and this and this. Can you send it?
And I would say like probably 10 times out of 10, they're going to be like, oh, our bad. It's on its way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just be cool. Don't be a dick right off the bat. I think it was a mistake. If they start being a dick, then you can be a dick back, all right?
Yeah.
But start it nicely, and then generally you'll get that shit right away.
Yeah. One of the good experiences I would say that has kind of changed my thought process, and I feel like I should come clean about it, is I've always had a lot of hesitation recently with NRG. When I was 16 to 20, NRG was not a good brand. It was super cheap, and it squeaked, and it made a bunch of noises, and it had a bunch of terrible customer service and all sorts of good stuff. And so I was very, very hesitant to put those seats in the GR86, the Torque Motorsport car that we're building. And honestly, super impressed.
Sure.
They
Glad you
didn't
like
squeak. They didn't do any of the weird flexing the old ones used to do. So I don't know if there's new quality assurances or what, but the seats were actually very comfortable and held me in really nice. So then we did have an issue with the quick release on the GR86, contacted customer support, just kind of went through the process as normal. They sent me a new one.
It just came in today, actually.
Yeah, so I do want to say that because I think sometimes it's easy to only think about the past. And so far, my experience has been better. So that's cool.
Yeah, I'd say some companies learn and improve, and some stay stagnant. So you just gotta learn
that's what we're gonna do.
What.
Yep.
Like Subway.
I don't know what the fuck Subway's doing, dude.
Someone needs to check on
foot-long
Subway.
Cookies, foot-long
For $5, Dakota. That's the
Foot-long
worst.
churro.
That's the worst deal in the world.
foot-long pretzel.
You can go to Quick Trip, get yourself 12 cookies, double dark chocolate chip for like
started
$3.29.
foot-long in everything they had. They are panicking, dude. You could probably get a foot-long ham, a foot-long turkey.
The only
And
thing
I'm
that-
talking about the bird.
The only thing they're not doing is doing $5 footlongs, which is what they need to bring back.
$5 foot-long
They're like,
cookies,
guys,
apparently.
people love them, but we can't afford to do that anymore. We got to do something. They start making foot-long cookies in that bitch, and that
You
don't make
can't
any
tell me.
sense.
You can't tell me that there's not a way to make a $5 footlong work.
I know.
There's no way. There's no way.
Qdoba can give me a big fat ass bowl for $9.
Yeah.
We gotta be able to make a sandwich for $5.
A turkey sandwich for
Gotta
$5.
gotta be able to
Fucking just make it turkey and cheese.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
a $5 menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, it's like that. It blows my mind. I'll go to McDonald's. It's like $17. I'm
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah,
why?
I don't everything.
Where did it go?
It's all weird. It's
Tell
all
me where the food money went.
It's
I don't
Subway's-
understand.
and I can't afford
Subway's all
anything.
like they changed all the names of my favorite sandwiches. It's all like football themed now. Everything has a fucking jersey number attached to it. I don't understand what's going
They're
on.
like, do you want the wife beater jailbreaker sub? And you're like, what?
Like, no, I asked for a spicy
I
Italian.
just want the spicy. Yeah, that's the wife beater jailbreaker now. And you're
Okay.
like, what? They're like, yeah, number 106. And you're like, what? Dude, Subway
There's only 5 subs on the board.
Subway is in full panic mode.
The part that confuses me all about it is like when I walk into a Subway, I don't know if I'm walking into like a hotel or like the Bronx or like a place that's about to get shot up. Like I don't know if I'm walking into a place that I don't know what to expect. I don't know if the
always
subway is going to be connected to the building or be divided by a bridge. Anytime I walk in, and it's
It's
like
a little off.
everything's always a little just clicked, you know? And I'm like, okay, go in there, grab my sandwich because there's nothing fucking else in this vicinity to get food, you know? And you go in there and you start getting it and you're going through the process. And like, it's such a weird experience for me now. And it doesn't be a sensitive topic, but like, you get to the end of the process, right? Where nobody wants to be there. Not even the person making the
Yeah,
sub
they're like, God damn.
wants you to be there.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, yeah, it should be ready for your cart. And you look down and it's like, tip?
No.
I don't tip at Subway. Come at me. I don't fucking care. I don't know.
It's just going to ask you a couple questions. No, it's going to ask me
You know
one.
what? You know what I think happened?
The
with
answer is
Subway?
no.
Well, maybe not because Qdoba does this. I don't know. One of my things here I'm thinking is human interaction has gone down. Everything is faceless or contactless or whatever. But Subway, you need to conversate to build your damn sandwich. And also, they just kind of suck. So it's the combination of needing to interact with people and it being not that great that they are just
Everyone's
stuck.
just pissed all the
They
time.
are just stuck.
There is no greater employment base that doesn't understand the definition of just a little, like a Subway
God, dude.
employee.
I tried.
I don't understand.
At this point, I think it's a game. It's like if they ask for a little, you load that bitch up.
I was like, even today we went to Subway. And
Yeah,
I
I
was
heard
like,
you. Light lettuce.
Can I do
light
can I
spinach?
please get light lettuce and light spinach? And he got the light spinach, and it's like he looked at me. He's like, boom. It's like,
Why?
oh,
you want
by the
the
way,
whole
would you like to
tub of
leave it? Would you like to leave it,
Yeah, see how much fucking lettuce I put on there for you?
bro? I don't know what.
boy.
I don't know what's happening in the fast food market. But dude, it makes me so uncomfortable.
That
You
was
guys
a
will have to
tangent.
share with us what you think about it in
God.
terms of the tipping culture and Subways in general. But dude, I'm so excited to go to FD St. Louis so I can have Subway 6
10
days in a
times,
row.
yeah.
Anyway, we have to take a small break, but not before talking about our next sponsor, and that would be Fortune Auto. They've been a part of this podcast since November. They're absolutely incredible. We're actually putting a couple sets of Fortune Autos on some builds that we have coming up, and we couldn't be more impressed. If you guys are looking to understand a little bit more of what makes Fortune Auto so special, we actually have a YouTube channel called MartiniWorks Unboxed. Gels has done a couple different videos specifically on Fortune Autos and what you can expect from them, and honestly, they're really incredible. One of my favorite things about them is the longevity of the coilover and the fact that they can do road and street stuff like it's just going out of style. It's super comfortable on the road, super comfortable at slow speeds, super awesome at high speeds, and the service, 10 out of 10. Absolutely love it. You can do Swift Spring upgrades. They really do cater to how you're going to drive the car, which is awesome. And of course, they have over 300 different fitment options. So if you're looking at a popular make that you own and you want to get something special, we'd highly recommend the Fortune Auto 500 series. And we also want to thank Fortune Auto for sponsoring the podcast. If you're looking for a set, you can mod your car at MartiniWorks.com.
I had a thought cross my mind the other day while I was driving the old RX-8, right? RX-8, sitting on airlift performance, 3-piece suspension, right?
Yeah.
And I just so happened to pass one of the boys in blue.
Oh shit!
It reminded
air
me.
out on 'em?
Well, so that's what I got to thinking, right? You get pulled over. Your car is on air suspension.
Right.
Are you airing out?
Fuck yeah.
Do you air out
Yes.
on the police
And there's
officer?
actually a specific reason that I would do it, especially if you're catless. Air out, they can't look under the vehicle.
I did it one time when I got pulled over in the Ferrari, and the sheriff who pulled me over going 92 and a 70 because I was running late looked at me and goes, "Did you just lower your car?" And I said, "Yes, officer. When it goes in neutral, it lowers itself." And he goes-
Okay.
Then he goes, "Huh, how low can it go?" And I'm like, "Pretty low. Would you like to see?" And he's like, "I would." And I aired it out all the way. And he goes, "Can you drive it that low?" I said, "No, sir, I can't." He goes, "Okay." And here I thought maybe he'd help me out. I thought maybe he'd be a good guy. Maybe he thought that maybe this innocent little boy was just trying to get someplace for his mother for church. And he slapped me with a 22 mile
Yeah,
an
you
hour.
aired out
order.
on the peasons, dude. You flexed right in front of them. And that's what I was going
That's
to
what I'm
say.
saying,
You got
like,
a
you-
50-50 chance of this being the officer being like, whoa, I've never seen that. That's really neat. Tell me about this. Is cool. Oh, this guy's a nice guy. Or you have this cockbag motherfucker had the audacity. I'm doing a traffic stop, and he's trying to show me his willy-nilly toys in his fucking horse car.
Willy-nilly toys in his horse car.
There's two ways that could go.
Yeah, that's what my thoughts are. I'm like, and especially you throw it in the mix, it's like, I actually have no idea why I'm getting pulled over. This is weird. This is random. Maybe it's like tint. Maybe it's something else, like whatever. Like, do you do it then? Or is it like, do you save? It's like, I know I fucked up and I just need like an icebreaker before this dude comes and bitches me out.
I have a second one.
Oh, I got
No, I got one
Okay,
too.
All right, you go first.
All right. Cop pulls you over.
Okay.
Do you immediately roll down your windows?
Yes.
Not all of them.
I do.
All of them is suspicious.
Oh, all of it? No, just the
driver
one.
passenger is okay. I'd say that's okay.
Why do you do it?
All of the. So he's gonna come talk to me. What do you mean? Like I got to communicate.
Walking up like
No. There's a reason. If you've got a legal window tint and you've got 4 windows you
Well,
can
that's
roll
why
down,
you can't do
and
that,
you
though.
know that
Yeah,
you're
the
about
heat
to get
and
pulled over
dad.
by a sheriff, do you drop them both? Do you drop all 4?
Well, if you have rears, my wire, I cut out.
what are you doing?
Put it back.
The rears don't go all the way down, so
Yeah,
it would still
sometimes.
stick up, and it would be noticeable and be really.
Oh, what is it coming unplugged over there or something?
Oh God, technical difficulties. I don't know. Now it sounds
Is
okay.
there a wire going bad?
It might.
Don't tell me that.
God.
Yeah, they're expensive. Okay, one second. Now I got one real quick.
Okay.
Back to the airing out. Maybe you help him out, right? Hear me out. Yeah, think the other way here.
Okay, I'm thinking.
He comes over. Your car's lowered. He's like, "Hey, what do you got going on?" You air up, so he doesn't need to lean over as far.
1 second off.
How
Let me
you
get on
doing?
your level a little bit.
I just wanted you to be able to see in the car a little better. Sir.
Yeah. Hey, check it out. Check it around. Yeah. No, I always roll my driver one all the way down. But I did get pulled over for the first time ever for tint a few months back. And I rolled it all the way down and he comes up and he's like, need you to roll your window up a little bit for me. I'm like, fuck. He's like, sticks it right out. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
I haven't had a situation with a police officer that was ever like terrible, I will say. Most of the times that I've gotten a ticket or I've gotten stopped, it's always been relatively pleasant. I've done my best to always be respectful to them and what I've been doing. There's been a couple times where I've gotten pulled over, which I think have been like stupid reasons, like just dumb, silly, dumb boy reasons. One time I got pulled over in the Gloria because he said he saw me on the right side of the car.
No shit.
Shocking.
Are you serious?
Was he?
Not kidding.
Was he
I don't even think that's a real reason to pull someone
Was
over.
he even more suspicious? Like when he got up to you and you were still on the right side of the car?
He's like, it was. I think. So here's the thing with cops, and I always
How
try
did
to.
that interaction go?
It was very like I was very direct. So if you know me in person, and you catch me in a mood where I'm like, I know you're fucking with me, or like I don't want to talk to you. I'm an entirely different person, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. And it was a Friday or something like that. And I'm going to Taco John's.
So you were
before they
fucking
close.
hammered, is what you're saying.
Whoa.
Kidding,
No.
I'm kidding.
And I'm like, and I'm driving to Taco John's.
I mean, this is how one of those stories would.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I'm just cruising. And I get pulled over. And the guy's like, yeah, I noticed you're on the right side of the car. And I just, I got a little curious as to why that might be. And I'm like, is it illegal to have a right-hand drive car? Yeah. And he's like, nope, just curious as to what you might be doing. And I'm like,
some suspicious activity going on.
Just chilling, man.
I'm like, what do you mean? He's like,
can't do that.
where are you heading? I'm like, right there. I'm heading right there. What do you want? And I'm like, what do you need?
I would imagine like he came up like the driver, like what would be like the driver's side. He's like, oh fuck. Like,
It was
he's
like
I'm fucked up.
It was right after the roundabout, heading towards college in Appleton. And so I thought maybe like, did I maybe cut in front of somebody? Or was I speeding? Because I have like a little like heads up display for the speedometer, and I'm like, maybe. Yeah. He's like, I just didn't expect you to be on that side of the car. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that information? What do you want me to? How do I respond?
fix this?
I'm
sorry,
sure
officer.
He cannot do that, but
Dude,
I mean,
cops
what are
can
you
pull
gonna do
over
at
for
that
anything.
point?
would
It's
you
already
rather have
happened.
him? Okay, but here's the thing. It's like obviously he knew he fucked up. He's like he saw. He's like, oh my god, duh.
Yeah.
It's like, would you rather him just like, never mind. Just walk back.
I think so. I think so. But like, you know what? I'm an idiot.
My bad.
Cool car, bro. I'm gonna head out. I'll meet you at Taco John's.
That was always like that was a silly one that I've gotten pulled over for. I have gotten pulled over for though. Most of the time, it's been my fault.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's been my fault. I can say that
I was
with
gonna say they probably
with the
all of
utmost
them are
confidence that it's been my fault. There was one time where I'm almost confident I got pulled over and I was the wrong car to get pulled over. Like,
Sure.
have you ever had that happen before?
Yeah,
I was on a
it's
highway.
like-
We were driving my wife's Jeep, and we were going, I think, 77 and a 70, and a Jeep Cherokee, like, blew by us, same color, billion miles an hour. Then I got pulled over, and I was like, you got the wrong guy.
I'm gonna have to use that one next
Yeah.
time I get pulled over.
Yeah.
No.
It's the other wide
That was
body
the-
RX-8.
Yeah,
All right, let's go into breaking news, shall we?
yes.
Yeah, hit me with
An
it.
F40 has been wrecked in Stuttgart, Germany.
That's a
Damn.
sad day.
I saw an F40 run into a fence once.
Yeah, you remember that? FT Washington.
That's so bad.
He was trying to warmed it up right into a fence.
That was wild.
No, apparently he revved it in the tunnel and went to give her a little shakedown and immediately just cooked her into
They need
the
to
tunnel
stop
wall.
revving those cars.
Stop revving cars, you crash.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got going
Pour one out for
on.
that
The
F40.
Subaru Legacy is dead after 2025.
Oh, I thought you were going to say after 20 miles because it blew up because it's a fucking Subaru.
It
Teachers
did have quite the legacy.
Yeah.
teachers are gonna be pissed when they find this out.
English teachers are crying right now.
Yeah, they are so angry. They're gonna be writing so many letters.
They're going to write a Taylor Swift poem.
Oh my god, 6 out of 10. Model 3 Performance is officially launched at $52,990.
Cool.
Same
Model
price as a
3.
Nissan Z.
Model T. Same car.
Corvette Z06 driver from viral copy-vading videos has finally been arrested.
I've
I
been
have
seeing
seen
some
this.
shit.
This
Yes.
is a huge story. Guns
That's
and drugs
wild.
seized, police say. So this guy has been going viral
Yep.
all over TikTok. Essentially, millions of views of him just running away from cops,
Yep.
purposely egging him on
In a
Yeah,
stolen
dude, like-
car.
in a stolen Corvette.
It's not
which
if,
is
it's when. You're either gonna die or get pulled up. What are you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna.
Entertaining nonetheless, but stupid.
Yeah. So one of the things I find interesting is like it reminds me of some of like the older days because over on YouTube back in like mid 2000s, I think there was a guy in Germany or Italy that did the same thing.
Oh, really?
He had a BMW and another guy had a Porsche, and that's what they did. At night, they filmed them egging on cop cars and then going and
Outrunning
just
them,
and outrunning them. And that was like the sheer thing. So a lot of people are kind of all pissed about it, right? But I was like, whatever. Like, as I don't want anybody to get hurt, but people are going to do what people want to do. But the crazy story is like he almost got caught in like a parking lot.
Yeah, and then they like pushed him out of the way.
He just drove away.
They're like, let me help you out here. Just runs into the back.
Those cops had to get fired. They all had him boxed in.
Just don't move.
Like, where are you gonna go?
And then just one of them's like, I just want to kind of hit him again. And he like pushes the other cop out of the way. And the guy's like, well, shit. And he just fucking like drives away normally. Yeah.
That's
that
why
was
it's like
that was a fucking speed breaker move in Most Wanted right there.
I am convinced that cop was
He was that
up,
close,
up,
that
gone.
close to busting.
he was about to run up to the Xbox to turn it off.
He's like, oh shit.
Dude, I thought it was astounding because I was like, that cop lost his patience. 100%. They
He was
had
pissed,
him,
yeah.
and he was pissed at him. He's like, I'm gonna hit him again, and then he fucking got away.
Yeah, that one wasn't on the guy. That one was on the cops.
Bro lost his $1 million bounty there.
Yeah. So apparently, hundreds of pounds of marijuana product.
Wait, along with it?
4 firearms, including an AK-47, and $1,950 in cash. They became aware of his 2018 Z06 due to his strong platform on social media.
Yeah, how weird that he posted videos doing it and then the cops found him after.
Yeah, it's almost as if they know how to find you.
Damn. Can't believe we're banning that app.
Yeah.
Look at all the good it's doing.
It's literally solving crime.
For itself. People are turning themselves in on
The
TikTok.
cops have 3 hours a day that they have to watch TikTok to find crime.
Like, shit.
I gotta go get this guy.
This guy has his fucking location on right now.
He's literally filming. He's live at his house right now. I asked him where he was.
He's going to get swatted for real.
I literally got his whole confession on live right now.
Chad, is this real? It's like fucking LAPD.
Not a cop, 664. Hey, did you kill that guy? Yeah. Oh, I gotta go get him.
Got your ass busted.
On my way.
Have you seen the TikToks where it's the sheriff department doing videos in front of the houses they bust?
Yes.
Yeah, so like they're busting these drug houses, and then they're putting a fucking phone tripod down and
Like, I gotta
filming a
film this
video with the people in handcuffs behind them, and they're like, "Hey, this is the Montgomery Sheriff's Police Department. We just busted a drug house on 1060 Northern Lane," and there's a dude like in the back, like fully tatted, like, "Hey, fuck you, you piece of shit, fuck you, fuck the guy's like, we're just happy to provide another
my God.
safe form. And it's just hilarious.
That is hilarious, but at the same time, how different is that than Cops? The show.
Right.
It's about the same.
It's just
I
vertical Cops.
I cannot watch an episode of Cops and not just put myself in the cameraman's shoes of well, he fucking jumped the fence or he fucking
Imagine being like, being the one that you're like being like arrested or whatever, and like the cop comes to me and there's just like this fucking camera crew. I'm like,
you got like the lighting guy and the boom
like,
guy.
am I being punked right now? Like, what the fuck is this?
The best part ever. I agree with that because there have been times where when I was really young, I used to see how long those like runs would last.
Yeah, dude.
And my brother and I used to watch Cops. And be like, he just ran with a 30-pound camera.
Yeah.
For
And he's
like
still getting
4
the
minutes,
shot.
and he's still getting it.
And
Yeah.
he's ahead of the officer.
He's like catching up to the cop.
He's like, toss me the gun and I'll take care of it.
Give me the cuffs. Give me the cuffs. Dude, it's so wild. Not to keep it fucking going down this rabbit hole, but I got hit with a video yesterday. And I don't know, there's the legality, and I don't understand, like, with these, like, bounty hunter people, that, like, go get people that, like, like, they can just fucking do whatever they want,
Like
apparently.
Dog?
Yeah, like Dog, the bounty hunter. But there was this one guy, apparently, he does, like, a bunch of videos on TikTok. I don't know how real this is, but I was fucking dying laughing because... Dude, it looked like fucking like Wish app Rainbow Six Siege. You got like this one big dude. He's got like this tiny riot shield. They're in some dude's apartment, and they're like, Rick, come on, man. And he's like locked in the bedroom. He's like, fuck you. They're like, Rick. And they're like all laughing. They're like filming each other. He's like, Rick, come on. Like, we got to go. Like, you know you fucked up. Like, he's like, no, fuck you. It's just like, they're like fucking with each other. And they're like, all right, we're going to break down the door. The one dude who's like fucking like wish at Montaigne. He's like, yep, here you go. And he hands him like a fucking like axe. And they like make a hole in the door. Dude pulls out a fucking concussion grenade. He's like,
Jesus.
Hey, Rick. He's like, yeah, this is gonna suck, buddy. And he just drops it in there. And he's just poof. He's like, they're just dying laughing on the outside. They're like, I told you that was gonna suck. And they're like, I can't hear shit. He's like, yeah, you're concussed. So I'm like, this cannot be fucking real.
So I do have to bring it back. I'm sorry. We have to talk about one last topic. And then
What you got? What you got?
So this came across Reddit, and I was actually involved in this thread because I found it very interesting. The title was, "People saying the Miata needs to be slightly bigger need to simply shut up and try to fit or buy something else." So for those that don't know, the new MX-5 got released, and 2024 MX-5, and to everyone's initial response, it is quite literally another perfect Miata. It's cheap, it's affordable. They make the LSD a little bit better. They make the infotainment a little bit better.
It's not electric.
And it's still a fun, peppy, like kind of on its nose driving experience. And everybody thought that was going to be the end of it. But there's been comments on like Road and Track and the Car and Driver stuff where it's like people are saying they need to make it bigger because they can't fit in it. And there's a lot of people that have been complaining that they can't fit in the Miatas, and so now they want to make a bigger Miata, specifically for people that are like 6'2" and above. And so I've always had an opinion on Miatas that they really should never change, because if they do, they're going to mess it up. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts.
Okay.
You know, cars have gotten bigger for a lot of different reasons. Do you think the Miata should evolve to accommodate people that are above 6 foot, or should they get fucking bent?
As a big guy who can't fit in a Miata, no, keep it the same.
Yeah,
There's plenty of. There's the GR86.
I was going to say,
there's
I
plenty of
agree
other options
completely.
out there.
There's cars that have more room and cater to big people, and then there's cars that are smaller and cater to smaller people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's fine. I don't need to own a Miata. I'm okay. And I might even fit in one. I don't know, but
If John Cena can fit in a Type R, I think we're just fine.
and a GT.
I will say I had to move Jake's Miata at Riverside.
Remember this?
They're like,
Did you
hey,
fit or did you not fit?
I did not fit.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. That means I do not
The
fit.
seat was all the way back. The steering wheel was in my.
Oh my!
fucking-
It's that bad.
It
Well,
was
for
tight.
gels though, it's not there's no like, I'm not going to talk about like the size. The issues with the shoulders.
Yeah.
The shoulders are what get the most hilarious thing is in the S2002 when Gels gets in the car, his shoulders just like
Yeah.
everything else is the same except shoulders are up by
They
the
kind
ears.
of tuck you in a
Yeah,
little
the
bit.
shoulders are
The door closes and it's kind of
Yeah,
like
the shoulders are here. You're kind of like this. You're grabbing the steering wheel like this. My knees were like in the fucking dash.
It's like one of those weird Need for Speed games at the bowling alley where the seat is just stuck
Right.
forward.
Yep. And I'm like hitting the clutch with like my big toe because I can't like extend my leg all the way.
no.
Truth be told, if you guys are a taller person or a bigger person, we actually did a video one time where we talked about best cars for taller people.
Yeah.
A lot of times, if you are looking for some quick wins, GR86, awesome platform for it.
those go.
Honda Civic Si and Type R, fantastic platforms actually. They're specifically built to handle taller folk, which is why people like John Cena and a lot of times like bigger, taller people are all running around in Civics. And I think outside of that, I think the Nissan also actually fits pretty well as well, the Nissan Z.
Yeah. That's
It's got a lot of length to the legs.
Fun little factoid for you. Supra's pretty good. It's got the bubble top, which was made specifically to be able to like fit helmets and stuff in the car, but in turn makes it so taller people are pretty A-okay. I will say though, there is a threshold. I'm like 6 foot, 6'1", right in that area. I fit perfectly fine. However, if you go a bit above that, there is like that strut tower bar in the rear.
Yep.
And your seat only goes so far back, and then you're against that. So, like, if you need to go back farther, if you have long ass legs, you might run into a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, there you go. If you guys are looking for aftermarket car parts, though, Magicar at MartiniWorks.com. We've had so much support on the website in the past couple weeks, and we just want to say thank you so much. One of the things we've been seeing a lot more than ever before are wheel and tire packages, which means the world. You guys know that if there's one thing we're experienced in anything else, it's wheels, tires, and suspension. We're not going to sell you shit. We're going to tell you exactly what we think fits. We're going to tell you exactly what we think about the brands that we help you with. If you're looking for something on a budget, we're going to be honest about what sacrifices that you may make to get that budget. budget, but it's been awesome because the response has been huge. And it sounds like you guys really appreciate that. So while we're growing the website, while we're trying to make it work without you needing our help, we love when you reach out to us. We love when you need help. And we're super happy to see the support, specifically on you guys picking up wheel and tire packages from us over at MartiniWorks.com. So if you need anything else, feel free to hit us up. Carissa T-Swift fan account 42069 is back with the Red Bulls. I've changed
Red
my
Bulls.
score. I've changed my
Thank
T-Swift
you.
score to a 7 because she's here. You're the best.
Juneberry.
We will talk to
What
you guys
flavor
later.
is Juneberry?
What is it? Kind of tastes. Smoke.
Juneberry.
We'll talk to you guys later. We're gonna get re-energized. Max Verstappen.
Whoa.
Du-du-du-du.
That's got a lot of flavor. Okay.
Good.
Du-du-du-du.